Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing So You Want to Play Lithuanians, and I'm excited for this episode because Lithuanians are a very flexible civ and one of my personal favorites. So if you guys aren't familiar with the series, basically I'm going to go through the civ and I go through one civ a week basically every Saturday, and I talk to you guys about how to play them in theory by taking a look at their bonuses and their tech tree, and then how I play them in practice by playing a game and going over it via recorded game. And the goal of the video is basically to give you guys all the information and tools necessary for you guys to play the Civ in your own games and excel with it. So that's the idea. Hopefully it's helping you guys, and hopefully you guys are learning something from this video as well. So without further ado, let's just hop right into it and take a look at Lithuanians for this week. So Lithuanians tech tree here. Let's go to a better scene for this. That should be a lot better. Lithuanians, they're classified as a cavalry and monk civilization. Let's take a look at their bonuses. Their first one is that they start with 150 free food, and this is kind of similar to the Mongols hunting bonus, that you get extra food early. It allows you to do a lot of aggressive strategies and go a little bit faster up to Feudal Age if you want to go for some sort of a scout rush and something like that. So we can actually talk a little bit more about that once we go into the game. But as far as the next bonus, Spear Line and Skirmishers move 10% faster. This is very good for Feudal and Castle because it makes your skirmishers just oppressive. You can chase down archers and you can constantly hit and run, and they can't really ever run away, and they can't really fight you because you're the counter unit. So skirmishers especially benefit tons from this bonus. And Spearman Line, it's nice for like if you go for a pike siege push to have faster pikes, or in Feudal Age to chase away scouts to have faster spears. Makes it awkward to attack into that. So very nice bonus, gives a lot of versatility in the mid game, and gives some nice stats late game as well. And then the third and most notorious bonus for the Civ is that each garrison relic gives +1 attack to Knights and Lightest. So whether you think this is their best bonus or not, it's definitely the one they're most known for. And this makes it so there's added incentive to pick up relics. We all know that Knights and Lightest are, and this is the Knight line, so Knight, Cavalier, and Paladin. We all know that those guys have already a ton of attack, so getting extra stats on their attack, isn't necessarily that game breaking, or you might think that way. But the thing is, this kicks in from the start of Castle Age. So instead of getting techs like forging and iron casting, which cost resources, all you have to do is actually pick up a relic. And attack in Castle Age is actually a pretty big deal on your knights because it allows you to take good fights against pretty much any other melee unit, including pikemen, which is pretty crazy. So it makes your knights pretty much, just completely dominant in the Castle Age, and lets you play that massive Castle Age where you're spamming a lot of knights and taking good trades all over the place. And so we all know that for generic civs, you want to pick up relics normally because it gives you gold in the late game, and gold is just the most important resource once the gold on the map runs out. And so having an added incentive to pick up these relics that a normal civ would want anyways just makes it that your strategy has to be based around picking up relics. It's just it kind of shapes the civ in that way. And so I highly recommend that we plan out our strategy or our early game to make sure we're able to pick up relics, whether that is getting up to Castle Age faster and dropping a monastery right away, or playing a very aggressive game to gain map control and then pick up the relics afterwards. The unique unit is the Lightest. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And it's basically, think of it like a paladin that ignores all melee damage, all melee armor. So when it attacks a Teutonic Knight, a paladin would do reduced damage. Lightest would do its full damage because it ignores all damage. It does have some weaknesses against archers though, because it lacks pierce armor, but we'll take a look at the differences in the numbers a bit later. The unique text is Hill Forts, which gives your town centers +3 range. Pretty good in late game when you're trying to defend against raids, actually. It's quite nice. And then Tower Shields gives your Spearman Line and Skirmishers +2 pierce armor. This is most notable on Skirmishers though, because again, Skirmisher is known for their pierce armor. Spearman Line, you're going to see that they're missing the last armor in the Blacksmith, so this just kind of compensates for it and nothing more. And then their team bonus, Monasteries work 20% faster. This is kind of in line with the Relic bonus, so you have faster working Monasteries, which applies for 1v1 by the way, because you're on your own team. And that kind of helps you get monks out faster to pick up those relics which you need for late game and for your knights and cavalry. So very nice. Let's take a look now at their tech tree and see how we want to use these bonuses the most effective way. So the archer range to start things off. It's pretty decent actually. I mean, you have crossbow with thumb ring, so your cast edge is perfectly fine. Elite skirmishers that move faster is a very nice option. Like I said, very oppressive in a lot of cases. And then the cavalry archer late game is not bad. You're missing Parthian tactics, but you have full upgrade in blacksmith with thumb ring, so that's pretty good. But you have no special bonuses, so I don't think it's like the main unit you want to go for. And hand cannon is pretty situational, but it could help you deal with eagles, and it could also help you deal against halbs as well in certain cases. Next up, their barracks. I mean, their barracks is pretty, mediocre in the sense that you have champions that are missing supplies and missing the last armor in the blacksmith. But then you also have halbs that move faster, so their barracks is pretty good. Halberdiers is their main unit. Champion would be very situational. Moving on to the stable, though, real quick. This is where they shine. Full upgraded stable minus the regional unique units, which you don't really care about, because it's all about the night line here. Get extra relics, get more attack on the night line, and then just spam till your opponent gives up is your main strategy. But in the cases where you don't get that many relics and you want to go for your Hussar, you have that option as well. Fully upgraded Hussar for you. Very, very nice. Their siege is where they kind of start slacking a little bit. They have no special options. The main thing to consider, though, is that they have the bombard cannon, which gives you a little bit of flexibility in the late game at taking out trebs and defending yourself, or even pushing other castles and buildings. And then they also have Onager, Capram, and that's basically it as situational options. But they're missing kind of like the big three late game option here: Heavy Scorp, Siege Ram, and Siege Onager. So they don't excel in their siege, basically. Their blacksmith, though, full upgrades except the plate mail armor, which, like I said, it's not a big deal because you kind of compensate using unique tech tower shields. So this only really hurts your champion line, and let's be honest, champions situation unit at best for the Civ. It has a lot of better options most of the time. Their navy, again, nothing too special, but they actually have pretty good tech. Fast fire ship galleon, elite cannon galleon, and then, just missing shipwright and heavy demo. But they have no specific bonuses for water besides the free food at the start. So maybe they're going to be good on hybrid maps here and there, and they're not bad, truthfully, but definitely not your go-to pick on most cases. Their university, the main thing to note is that they're missing siege engineers. Once again, something that hurts their siege. So again, don't invest too heavily on the siege. It's really just something that's meant to support your army and not be the bulk of it. But one thing to note as well, though, they have bomber tower with full upgrades on the buildings, building HP and armor. So bomber cannon keep for you, very nice for defensive. So let's say bomber cannon, bomber tower, and keep. Very good options for defense and offensive tower rushes there. And then their unique units, yeah, the lightest. So let's take a look at the elite lightest stats. It has 70, it costs 70 food, sorry, and 50 gold. And the first thing that pops up to your mind is 50 gold is quite low for a heavy cavalry, and you're actually right. 75 gold for a paladin or a knight, so this is actually quite a discount. And their stats are as follows. So their base stats is 130 HP, 14 attack, 2 melee armor, and 1 pierce armor. Just for comparison, the Paladin has 3 pierce armor base, so this is lacking after all upgrades 2 pierce armor, which makes them very weak against archer units. But obviously they ignore all melee armor when they're attacking, so they become insanely strong against melee units. So they're really quite different from the Paladin. The one thing I will mention, though, is that their elite upgrade is very cheap. 750 food and 750 gold is extremely cheap compared to the Paladin tech. So in late game, going elite lightest, if you have the castles, might actually be a very good option if you want to get if you want to get as fast as possible up to the strongest unit or to a really strong unit, instead of waiting all the time to get the resources for Paladin, and it's a long upgrade to research as well. So highly recommend you consider elite lightest. It's not the most powerful in late game, but it's good against melee units, and it's quick to get out as well. So, and it's cheap on the gold. So again, quite different from the Paladin. Obviously, you need castles for it, so you can't go for every game, but just weigh your options and pick one in your late game composition. Both of them benefit from relic attack as well. Let's hydrate a bit here. All right, sorry about that. Moving on, we have the monastery. You have full tech. I think Burmese and Aztecs also get full tech, so it's not that special, but combining it with your monasteries working faster makes them pretty solid. So that definitely a strong suit there. And then late game eco bonuses. I mean, nothing special, but you have 2-man stall, corporation, and guild, so your late game is pretty set. So that's pretty much it. Lithuanians in a nutshell in terms of their tech tree and their bonuses. As far as how I would want to play them in theory, from what I've seen there, I can definitely tell you guys, and from my experience in playing, obviously, I can definitely tell you guys that you want to play aggressive strategies from the start of the game, basically. You want to make use of that 150 food to get some aggression going, put some pressure, try to get some vills from your opponent, and then follow that up with some aggressive Castle Age play as well. You know, maybe mixing in some trash units, maybe going for your knights right off the bat, and then use that kind of aggression to secure some relics. 2 or 3 relics, as many as you can get. Ideally, you want 4 to get your maximum use out of the bonus. And then once you go to the late game, you start to kind of expand and maybe go for, like, I don't know, Cavalier to start, and then you decide if you want Elite Lightest or if you want Paladin. Usually if you have a massive Cavalier, it makes sense to go Paladin, as it is the overall stronger unit. And then you can kind of supplement that army with either Halbs or Elite Skirmisher as the kind of the trash unit. And then for your siege, you kind of want Bomber Cannon or Trebs usually, with Onager and Capran being quite situational if you need them. So that's how I'd play them in terms of unit compositions, and that's pretty much directly from the tech tree. Let's take a look at how I can do this in practice though, and I've prepared to you guys today a game against Daniel, and it's going to be quite a nice one actually. Daniel's been playing really well recently, and this game was no different. He played quite solidly, and he was actually the Malians. But before we hop right into this one, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor, which is actually me this time. So yeah, I sponsor my own videos, go figure. But no, it's not actually a sponsorship, but I just want to bring some attention to you guys that I'm going to be going full-time starting now, or starting a week ago. And for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be doing every day a video on YouTube. So in the weekdays, it's going to be the best game from the stream, basically, with the intro and everything that Kay wants them to take care of, hopefully. And then on the weekends, it's going to be on Saturday, So We Want to Play video, and on Sunday, some sort of discussion video or out of the box video, or maybe a day off if I need it. But it's going to be a lot of videos going to YouTube. So, you know, I hope you guys are excited for that, and hopefully you guys will also enjoy the content and potentially learn from the educational videos I put out as well. The next thing I want to bring to your attention to is the fact that with this full time, I'm also going to be streaming more often on Twitch. In fact, every day in the weekdays as well, where I can. So definitely check the links in the description below. Go give my Twitch a follow, and I'll see you guys on the live stream as well. And then the last thing is my Discord. Also a link in the description. I put every week my weekly schedule for my live streams on Discord. So if you guys want to know when to catch me live on Twitch, join the Discord. It's completely free, and you guys can see when I will go live. And you can also interact with a massive community. We have 11,000 people in there right now, and it's very active in terms of people talking about tournaments, talking about games, playing games together, and talking anything Age of Empire related, and some real life stuff as well. So it's quite nice. Highly recommend you join my other medias and you know, be more involved in the community. Without further ado, though, let's hop into the game. And I'll hydrate a little bit here. It's a lot of talking, man. All right, very nice. Okay. So, let's go ahead here and set this up. Make sure everything's good. All right, so let's minimize this and have the right overlay. Yep. Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to this game here. I'm playing in the blue as the Lithuanians, obviously, and my opponent is going to be Daniel here, playing in red as the Malians. And I got a suggestion to focus a little bit more on my perspective, to kind of run you through my thought process, and not just cast the game like a general caster. So I'm going to try and do that a little bit more often today, and kind of focus on my perspective with Fog of War as well. Not the whole time, but just, you know, I'll toggle it here and there to show you guys, you know, what I'm thinking and how I make the decisions. Hopefully that will help in your gameplay. So yeah, starting things off, it's a standard Dark Age, and I'm just going to go around, get my sheep, get my boar, all that good stuff. What do I think of in the Dark Age? Well, besides what I'm going to have for dinner later, you want to be really thinking about what strategy you will go for based on your map. Now, a lot of people ask me, Hera, what strategy do I go for? And the answer to that is simply based on two things. Based on the Civ matchup that comes first, and based on the second thing is your map. I'll run you through, I'll give you an example of what I mean by based on your map here in a second. But pretty much you want to start by scouting around, obviously, and then take a look at where your resources are placed. So I'm noticing right away I've got a back berries, very safe, back 2 stones, which can be nice if I get pushed, so I'm not worried about getting towered. But on the other hand, I have a forward gold here, and I don't see any gold in the back. So chances are I have 2 other golds forward, which is actually the case. So all my golds are forward. This gives me 2 options. Either I play very aggressively out here, and I try to defend this main gold, or I play a little bit more conservatively, wall up the sides maybe, and then, you know, try to secure the gold a bit later on after maybe, say, a scout rush to gain some map control. I'm going to opt for the latter, based on the matchup, believe it or not. My opponent is playing as Malians, which is very likely to open men-at-arms. And while their men-at-arms are not stronger than my men-at-arms head-on, they have a nice clean men-at-arm build order that gets them into archers. And I feel like Malians are going to be perfectly fine doing that. So I want to avoid the direct counter with my men-at-arms. And instead, I want to play scouts into skirms to try and counter that men-at-arm into archer from Malians. So that's my plan. Because Lithuanian skirms are so strong, it should work. Basically. So my plan here, and you'll see I placed the house here to set this up. My plan is to wall the sides up. Alright, and then go for a scout rush, and then later on transition to skirms in order to secure my main gold and keep my position defended. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I'm going to be going for. And again, that's all based on the Civ matchup and on my map, not on my opponent's map yet. I haven't drawn any conclusions there because it's 5 minutes and I'm scouting my map. Now, something to consider this game is that I could have started to wall nice and early. Like right now, if I walled with one villager here and here, it could be quite nice. In fact, it probably is the safest approach to do. However, I kind of delayed a little bit because I want to click up really fast and go 18 pop scouts. So I don't want to waste my eco walling, pretty much. That's kind of the thought process there. And I would have had a great build looter, but this board decided to troll me. And it was because of the tree. So, I don't know, my theory is that Daniel placed this tree here in order to mess up my start and gain an advantage. But I don't have quite the proof for that yet, but I'm working on it. So anyway, I've scouted my map now, and it's around 6 minutes. I found everything I need. Hera, what do you need to scout? Well, I suggest you scout both stones, 3 golds, all your sheep, and all your boar, obviously, before moving out. But by 6 minutes, if you haven't found one of those things, if it's not super important, like, I don't know, your main gold or something ridiculous like that, you should go scout your opponent. It's a good time for it. And of course, I'm going for the standard build at home with, going 4 to each lumber camp now. It's not 5 because it's a really fast build, so I need a little bit more on the boar. But it's quite a nice build over here with 18 pop Lithuanian scouts. And yeah, my scouts are just going to be going around and securing, or sorry, not securing, but scouting at what my opponent is going to be going for. Now let's take away the fog of war real quick and see what Daniel's going to be going for. He's going to be going for men-at-arms and melons, so pretty much exactly as I predicted, and I thought of this well before I scouted my opponents. So again, this helps because I have knowledge of the civs, and it also helps because I've played a lot of games, and I kind of have a feeling for this. If you guys don't know how to draw these conclusions yet, just base your information on your scouting. Like, I'm going to figure this out just by scouting and without making any assumptions here in a second. And meanwhile, back at home, I've made my strategy, my opening, I should say, scouts, completely based on my map and the Civ matchup. Alright? And now, I have a confirmation as I'm going to run across this barracks here in a second. There it is. For sure, it's going to be men-at-arms now, no doubt in my mind. And so I have 2 options. Either I stay near it and I watch where the men-at-arm comes, but I'm 18 pop scouts. I want to attack him, so I want to figure out where I can attack him. I haven't really found that yet. And I'm going to run across this woodline very soon. So I kind of know now where I want to attack with my scouts. And we'll see how that plays out. And now he's going to go ahead and move forward with the men-at-arms. Cool, so now I know men-at-arms are coming. How am I reacting to this exactly? And the beauty about this game actually is that I make quite a lot of mistakes. But I also make a few good plays. And my thought process is along the right lines. So it's actually quite a nice game to learn from, even for myself. And Daniel plays a really good game. So as soon as I saw the men-at-arms, I should have started walling instantly. If not, I should have walled from before. I didn't. I delayed it, so I'm gonna have to probably panic wall a little bit to defend myself against men-at-arms, because again, my goal is to not fight the men-at-arms directly. My goal is to wait till skirmishers come out to then fight them after. My initial goal is to wall them out. So I sent a couple vills here. I kind of panic. I'm walling with 4 vills. It shouldn't be that way. And I actually result to some quick walls here. And again, you don't have to do this. I didn't have to do this. It's much better and much more impressive if I wall beforehand. This, while it might look cool to some, I hate seeing this. Getting away with quick walls is something that is a sign of someone who didn't think ahead. So I actually think this is a mistake for me to have to be in this position in general. But I managed to get myself out of it, which is quite nice. And now I'm looking to attack my opponent. So as you can see, I'm going to go directly to this wood line. He's walled it in. I don't know this yet, though. So I'm going to stick with my plan, right? My plan was to attack this wood line, and I'm going to do that with my 18 pop scouts. And then at home, now I'm well defended. He's going to attack my stable, which is probably the only thing he can do, so it makes a lot of sense. I want to pause here for a second. If you're scared of losing your stable to the men-at-arms, which I may or may not lose my stable later, the best thing to do is to actually make it close to your town center to the point where he can't attack it without being in range of your town center. Or if he does, you can at least repair with a villager who is defended by the town center. This stable is 8 tiles away, meaning if I send a Feudal to repair here, he has 2 tiles to kill it or to harass it, to push it off, and I don't have my TC protection. So if I lose my stable later this game, that's why. It's because I suck. I should have built it closer. So building your stable closer versus men-at-arms is a good tactic. He gets a hit off the spear. That's kind of a mistake for me. And he also brings the spear closer to put some pressure with his men-at-arms. I luckily, though, find a hole in his berries. So I'm very, very happy about that. And the goal about a scout rush is to get a couple of villas early and to harass your opponent. So this has been very, very worth it for me. And he actually goes for a nice play. He walls me in. And I knew that was going to be coming out, or I knew that was going to be happening. But I decided it's actually worth the trade. I didn't want to hit this house, my bad. It was worth the trade. 3 scouts with 2 villagers. At pro level, that's almost worth it every time. But now I just have to make sure I don't take too much damage at home. And I don't have the military to defend myself. So you can see me trying to wall with the villager. And again, I don't have the TC support. It's too far. So he's actually able to force me off the stable. I can't repair this. And so I'm pretty much forced to give up my stable now, which is something that I don't want to do. Because I'm going to need a stable to make knights later on in the game. So I make the decision now to give it up. Well played from Daniel. Great play to deny that. But my plan is going pretty much as follows. I'm going to be going for skirms behind this. And I don't really know what he's doing. He could be doing archers behind this. He could be doing nothing behind this. And he could be doing scouts behind this. The bottom line is I actually don't care. I need skirmishers anyway to deal with the militia. The men-at-arms. And generally skirmishers do outrun men-at-arms. But with Lithuanians, you outrun them even more. So it's just super oppressive. He can't deal with it. So whether he's doing archer follow-up or not, like I said, I don't really care at this point. With my last scouts, what I should be doing is scouting what he's up to. But I decided instead to scout for relics, which with Lithuanians is not a bad idea either. So you can see I'm up 2 villagers now because I killed 2 and I lost 0, but I did lose my stable. So the game was pretty close still. I prefer my position though, because villas are more valuable long term here. And yeah, just going to prevent him from going in and just defending myself with these skirmishers as well. Gonna just take a look, make sure everything's going well on this side. Yeah, looks good. I should probably take away the scoreboard though. Yeah, we don't need that one. Gonna be awkward. People skimming through the video, they see like the scoreboard at first and not the scoreboard at the end. They're like, what happened? Maybe this is incentive for them to watch the whole video then. Probably not though. Anyway, let's take a look here and take a look at the skirmisher micro. Obviously, it's nothing special. I mean, I'm basically just opening my eyes and opening my monitor, and anyone can micro this. I move way faster than the enemy units, so it's very easy to micro skirmishers with Lithuanians. And this is why I say it's so oppressive. He can't do anything. He attacks me, I run away. He runs back, I attack him. No matter what he does, he's going to be losing his units to these skirmishers. And so the only counter for these skirmishers is actually for him to go scouts. If he goes skirmishers of his own, I'll out-micro him because I move faster. And that's such a big bonus for the skirmishers in the right hand. So highly recommend you guys practice with skirmishers with Lithuanians. If you want to learn the Civ, it's very, very important toolbox. Alright, so now speaking of scouts, he's also going to be going for some scouts himself to try and counter the skirms. I don't care though, because even if he attacks me with scouts, I could easily run back home and maybe prepare a spear or 2. So again, I'm just going to be constantly... I actually killed that wolf for him. Respect, Hera. Hey, no problem, Daniel. But yeah, so I'm just going to be... Again, like, the story is the same. This is disgusting just watching this. So I'll keep an eye on this. But back home, just to give you an idea of what my eco looks like, I've got a few on gold. I've transitioned to that now. Exactly what I wanted to do in the early game happened, by the way. I meant scouts to gain map control, skirms to defend my men-at-arms, and then to reclaim... defend his men-at-arms and then to reclaim the gold. Exactly how I thought it would play out. It played out, and that's just because of experience. I've played a lot of situations like this, and I knew that that would be a good strategy to go for, and it worked. So this just shows that if you base your strategy based on your map, or if you make your strategy based on your map, it ends up just being very, very smooth for you, other than if you just pick a random strategy and wing it kind of thing. So plan ahead in the Dark Age. There's not a lot happening in Dark Age. Plan ahead. Plan your strategy out. So again, a little bit of idols here. Hera, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck. Hera, you're trash. Never play this game again. Hera, fix your idols, dog. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. What? Okay, there we go. Whew. That was like a good 30 seconds though. So again, I'm making mistakes still. No one plays perfect, let alone me, man. I don't even play close to perfect, and you can see that those idols are a hint of that. But anyway, I'm going to be going up to Castle Age here and dropping 2 stable knights right away. And the reason I want to play 2 stable knights is because I expect him I expect him to want to contest the relics. So naturally, I need to play aggressively to secure the relics, and 2 stable knights is the best way to do that. Now, something very interesting happens here, and it's actually an amazing play from Daniel. He's massing a lot of archers here. I don't know that though, because I haven't seen them. I've only seen the few archers he had, and I've seen his stable. So now I'm in a position here. This is what I see. Okay, I click the archers as I always do, and I see no fletching, and I only see 3. So I'm thinking like, okay, he's got a stable. I think he's gonna go camels here, and it makes so much sense to go camels to counter my knights and to contest map control, and it also clears up my skirms. So I thought he was gonna go camels here. Instead, he tricked me, and he's gonna go for archers. He's massing a lot of archers still, and his plan is to go for archers and mix in some camels later on. But I actually killed his archers now, and I see that he has no fletching. So I'm thinking, no way does he have an archer army. And that's what I see. Like, you can't really blame me from this position, because based on my vision, I have no reason to believe that he has more archers. And look what I see. No fletching here. Bloodlines on the scouts. To me, this looks like a standard camel or knight switch from Malians. But again, Daniel, he knew that I think this way, so he completely tricked me. He didn't get fletching early, and instead picked up fletching later on. So well played to Daniel here. And me, thinking he's going to go for the knights, after I clean up his units here, I decide, I look at the map here, and I'm thinking, you know what? If he's just going to be going for knights or camels, I can use of this hill. I can make use of this hill. So my thought process now is I can get 2 monasteries here, go for a lot of knights, as you see me going over the house now with a villager. I think 2 villagers. So either monastery siege shop or, 2 monasteries, and I can actually pick up the relics and gain the hill. But Daniel had other ideas. In fact, his ideas were completely against what I had in mind. So he kills 2 free villagers because I was so surprised to see archers. So surprised. And if, like I said, it was just the scouts, I could have easily gotten a couple of knights out and dealt with them. But the archers, the villagers are dead for sure. And yeah, that's unfortunate. So I completely scrapped this idea. And I go instead, I kind of panic because I obviously have a forward gold. So I spam a siege workshop here, and I don't want to go back out there because, from my perspective, I don't know where he's at. I don't know if he's going to be looping around here or looping around here. So I got a town center here, and I send my first 2 knights to go aggressively because I want to counterattack. Remember, I did kill 2 villagers early on, so his position is not that much better than me now. He was still hurt, but I did building scan, and I saw that his archers were going to go here, so I had to abandon this town center. So now I'm in a very bad position. I go back to that main gold though, but at his base, I'm still picking up some units. So I have a couple of knights in his base, and I want to sacrifice these for as many villagers as possible, because I don't care about these 2 knights, but I want to get villagers to delay his attack. And meanwhile, he's just going to attack my town center now. So it's actually looking like a very good situation for him, as he's keeping the pressure, and I'm forced to defend. And I only got like, I don't know, 3-4 villas with these guys. So while it's good, it's not game breaking. It's a good raid, but if I lose this TC, if I lose take a bad fight, I could actually lose the game from that. So I have to be extremely careful. And you can see me now preparing my army. I've got mangonel here and 2 knights, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can get a nice shot with a mangonel. Let's see if that works out. Lo and behold, Daniel, sharp as ever, he's going to move out of the way. And now I'm desperate to get this town center up because I can't afford to lose this one. I actually sold another 100 stone, by the way, in order to defend this one. And I think I do a pretty good job on the defense here. So I'm sending knights and mangonels to defend. Then I'm also getting a monastery here to pick up relics. Because again, I really want to pick up relics. That's one of my main goals here as Lithuanians. My micro is kind of bad here. Yeah, that's good micro from Daniel, but also poor play from me, I gotta say. But I don't really care. I got the town center up, and that's all I really care about. So I'm perfectly happy with this trade, and I'm satisfied with the position at this point. So I don't think I'm ahead. Let's compare vills. I'm actually up 2 vills now. He's at 1 TC still, but he's getting his second one now. I don't really know what the situation is like, so I'm reading the game like it's pretty even, but I have to stabilize because my position is definitely weird. I'm playing against camels, so until I pick up relics, my position is really weak, right? Because Lithuanian knights aren't special before you have relics, so don't think that they're insane before you have relics in. So I'm defending. I don't think I can fight this now. I might be wrong. I have a lot of upgrades, and I have a monk. Yeah, I think I could fight it with the monk, so now he's gonna walk back. So that's nice. At this point, a counterattack could have been really useful. just because I've already forced him away. So going for a counterattack would be nice. The thing is, he's also attacking with camels now, so I don't really have time for a counterattack. I decided instead to just defend myself now and pick up relics. So I want to camp a little bit because I saw that he has such a big army. So in general, my plan going into the game was to play aggressively Lithuanians. I wanted to play aggressively in Castle Age when I saw this massive hill. Then I saw that he was going archers and camels, so he was going for a lot of military. So I scrapped that idea. And I now decide to play defensively while I pick up relics. So you guys see how I adapted my strategy based on the situation here. And that's what I'm talking about. You open up your strategy based on your map, and then you adapt based on what your opponent's doing and based on the situation. Now I'm going to try and snag that relic, grab a quick snack here, +1 attack. And I know about this relic back here, so I'm thinking I can at least get 2 relics. But first, I want to secure a town center on this wood line. Because if I lose this wood line, I'm losing... You know, if I lose this hill, I lose this wood line. So I really want to secure it, and it's a really good place for a town center. And again, I always say this: you place one town center on a secondary gold, and you place one town center on another wood line. It's always the same, guys. It's very, very simple. Now you could make it on the stone once in a while if you need to, but if you want a recipe, definitely stick to that one. It works so well. So anyway, I have one monk coming back in. For now, I'm just going knights. And you might be thinking, Hera, why are you sticking on knights if you have camels? Well, I have monks to counter his camels. So I actually do have a composition here that deals really well with his civ, or his units. And knights don't die that hard to camels. Like, they actually trade quite evenly in low numbers. The more numbers there is, the better for the camels, though, in my opinion. So now I see he's got monks, and this is bad news for me. I may be up 10 villagers now, which I don't know, but I have a feeling because if he's pressuring me, it means he's probably, you know, has less economy, which is true. He's only on 2 TC, I'm on 3. So I feel like I've got more vills now. I don't know for sure. But I also know that he has the hill. So I know it's going to be a very, very dangerous next 5 minutes because he's going to be pressuring from the hill and potentially pushing me off my main gold and potentially taking out my monastery. You could also argue that it's a mistake to make the monastery this far up. Maybe I should have done it in the back, because this is very dangerous and you don't want to lose your relics after you pick them up, that's for sure. But anyway, now I want to play full castlage. I see him pushing me, so I know I need to defend this, so I'm trying to spend my resources as much as possible now. I bring in the snack here, the relic, and it's 10+2 attack on the knights now. Very good, the knights in full. And I think I'm going to go grab the other relic now. So yeah, 10+3 knights is going to be my my go-to unit, and I sent the Scorpion mostly to scout, but I don't know why I kept it this far up, because you can just heal these crossbows, so I actually just lose HP on the Scorpion for no reason. That's kind of a mistake. But I'm up like 20 vills now, so I'm doing really well. And he actually picks up the Scorpion now. Yeah, just grabs that guy. And now I'm getting really worried. I see a lot of camels piling up. I see a lot of monks piling up. I can't play full cab anymore. He has too many counters right now. I switch to pikes. Now, this is why I love Lithuanians. They're so flexible in defense. You can get faster skirmishers, you can get faster pikemen, you can get a great monk defense as well because you have a full monastery. So Lithuanians defending in Castle Age is actually very strong. Now, what I will talk about now is what I should do with these knights is go cut off reinforcements. I'm not sure if I do it now or not. I have a mobile unit, so instead of just leaving it defensively, I should actually cut some of his reinforcements off and just be on the map a little bit, maybe counterattack a little bit, because it's not doing much at home. So that's what I'm going to be going for now as I prepare the pike switch. But he brilliantly adds a ram. Instead of adding in like Mangonel, which is a slow push, he adds in rams to try and really force my hand. So this is actually a really good play from him. And I don't really know what to do, so I just start by counterattacking and slowing his push a little bit. But he's got the camels to defend, as you can see. So the situation is not completely healthy for me. And I'm losing my my stables here quickly. So this is currently what I view. I see monks and crossbows outside my base, rams taking out my buildings. I can't fight that yet. I simply can't. I don't have the military to fight it, but I have extra villagers. So if I find a way to somehow hold, I could be in a good position. But I'm taking a lot of damage because he's got the camels. I'm getting yet another town center, but I'm just getting completely dominated with these camels. So it's looking dicey here. I do what I can. I'm going to snipe some monks, snipe the rams, slow his push down as much as possible because that's really what it's about. And now I'm massing pikemen. I don't actually get armor on the pikemen for some reason. That's kind of a bad tech to be missing. Because it's so cheap and it's so effective. But anyway, I've got some pikemen on the front that helps with the camels, but they died to the crossbows. So my composition is still weaker than his. For some reason, I decided to take this fight though. And I mean, it doesn't take a genius to know which direction this fight's gonna go to. My pikes were on the wrong side. My knights are now fighting directly onto camels, and I get no conversions. I get absolutely shredded, and not the good kind of shredded that you get by going to the gym. This is the bad kind of shredded that you get by sitting in your house in your parents' basement and taking bad fights against guys like Daniel. So not the good kind of shredded here. But I'm now in full panic mode, and the best thing that I found, I need a TC here. Oh, sorry, a castle. So I'm gonna go for my famous G Fuel castle here. Unlike the Doubt castles, these ones always go up because I've got the energy behind it, and I don't know. I've got some pikes to defend. It's not looking pretty, but I figured I have to get this up. And the reason I have to get this up is because he has ramps. This is my main goal. This is a TC. This is my production buildings. If I lose this position, I lose the game. It's very, very simple. If I don't get a castle here, if I get it instead like here, I want to lose this whole side, and that's just too expensive. Then I lose this town center. So much losses. So the castle really has to be here. And it's on a small hill, so it's the only place for a castle. I decide I have to risk it. Even if I lose some villagers, it's worth it because I'm up a lot of vills, and I had intuition to tell me that during the game, because he simply invested so much into this push that I know I have more vills. All right, my castle goes up. I lose, I don't know, 10 vills on it, and brilliantly he goes for castle right in front of my face on a bigger hill. So yeah, the situation is actually looking pretty good for him now. If he's able to get a faster imp, he can trap me down. And so now, in order to stop that, I have to go stop most of my production here. I'm making some just to stop his push, because I really want to not get pushed, and I want to maintain my relics. Again, these relics are looking mighty exposed right now, and so I'm doing my best to secure that. But I also stop production because I need to go up to imp. Simple as that. This castle, if he gets up to imp faster, I will lose. So I think, in my opinion, he should have, instead of booming now with another town center, he should have probably rushed himself to imp, going for like heavy camel and then like tread me down. Something like that might have worked. But going full castle age for him is not a bad idea either. He can take away my relics, and that could be quite a nice option from him as well. You can see him adding in a lot of town centers now. So he went from 2, and now he's adding 2 more. Alright, so let's go back to my fog of war. This is what I see. I see him taking out my relics. I see a frown on my face, no doubt, because this is not very I'm not very happy with the situation. And my composition is just more awkward than him. I don't have any range units. He's got a range unit, melee unit, and a siege unit. So he's got... Did I just get... I'm offline. I got a sub. Yo, thanks, man. Yo, respect. That's someone coming over from the YouTube. Yo, thank you, man. His name is Raised to Dust. Thank you, man. Okay. Yo, respect. So anyways, I'm gonna get another castle here, and again, this is just to defend these 2 golds. I could get a castle here, but I feel like I didn't need it. Because if I get trebbed down, I'll get both my castles trebbed down, and I thought maybe he's up to Imperial Age. It turns out he's not, but I thought he could be. I didn't really know his situation in full. So I'm playing like he is up to Imperial Age, and so I'm preparing to give up this position and play the long game where I have to secure this, this area. I get a Mangonel out just to deter his ramps, because this is my MTC, so I'm actually hella scared right now. I'm like, I don't want to die. I don't want to lose my MTC. So I just defend, slow his push down as much as possible, and now it feels like it's kind of calm again. At this point, I have to decide what I want my Imperial Age composition to be. Now, I lost my relics, so going for Cav, it's like generic Civ Cav. It's nothing too special, but I figured I already have 10 masked up. I already have all the upgrades that I need. I should open Cav. I've got my eco set up for it. I should open Cav. I thought about going Lightest, but I didn't want to go Lightest versus crossbows that he had left over, and now he's taking to Guerrero. I don't know, going Lightest just felt like a bit of a weird decision, especially when I had all these Cav left over. So I decide, it's just best to go Cavalier here, and I think it's a good decision overall. He picks up my relic, but I want to pick up the last relic here because I want desperately to get extra attack on these guys. He killed my blacksmith, so I have to rebuild that somewhere else, by the way. But my main goal here, I get to imp faster. I'm feeling good now. For the first time after I got pushed, I feel like now I'm in a good position. So yeah, so I would say right now I want to take a fight once I get my upgrade. So not quite yet. This fight I'm taking just to take the relic. I take the relic, I'm like, yo, I'm outie, dog. I just leave, but yeah, as long as he doesn't chase me, I'm good. So I just run away. I'm waiting for my upgrades. My blacksmith died, so I'm remaking it at the back because I want to get the upgrades, obviously. And I've got Cavalier already on the way. 50%. It does take a while, though, so I'm going to just concede a little bit, take a little bit of losses, and wait for my Cavalier tech to go into. Now, one thing I want to talk about. Never, ever stop making vills until you're 200 pop. If I stop making vills, I could be at like 140 pop right now, or 140 vills, and that would be fine, but I'm not making use of the last 40 pop anyway, so ideally if I stop making vills now, it's perfectly fine. But if I continue making vills, I can get more resources and then just stockpile a lot, and then delete vills later, and have more resources to play with. A vill is only 50 food, so don't be too stingy at this point in the game with it. I don't need the 50 food now, I need more resources later, and so I'm actually just going to continue making vills until I'm 200 pop, while constantly making army as well. So I'm not going to have 200 vills, I'm going to have something like, I don't know, 160 or something like that. And I'm going to have a lot of military on the field now to defend myself. So keep making vills even if you're under pressure. It's such an important thing for you guys. And now that I know that I'm fast up to imp, I'm more comfortable making a castle here because I know I'm going to be able to trap down this castle. And that's what I do. Once I get the cav tech, I don't take the fight he wants me to take. Under his castle, under his town center, near his camels, I'm going to go around and raid him. Why do I do that? Because if I raid him with my first wave, it distracts him from the front, and it lets me set up my situation here with my reinforcements to clear out the building at my pace. So that's what I'm doing. I sent the first raid to his base because, again, that's just so much harder to defend. And now I take much better fights. Again, it's not under a castle. I'm going to snipe all those units. He does a nice job quick walling, so I'm not able to get in, but I do kill some villagers. And right now, 156 vills for me, 118 for him. And look at my pop, it's 190. So I'm still not pop capped, so it's actually efficient, I would argue, to have 158 vills right now, because I don't need to have more army on the field at the moment. I'm saving up for Paladin, I'm getting castles up where I want them, I'm actually expanding to this side, so I'm doing pretty much everything I want to be doing. You can see me taking fights like this. It's worth it before he gets heavy camel to thin out his camels, so this is actually a good fight for me. Even though it's in theory a counter unit, I have more tech, so I'm able to take this fight. And now I'm going to go for Halberdier tech. This is a very late hand card, by the way. 163 vills, and now I just have to get hand card. So at this point, I'm 200 pop. I stop making vills. I have 163. I'll delete some later if I want. It's okay. I don't need to have 60 military right off the bat. I can't afford to have 60 military right off the bat. I have just a few halbs right now, and I'll get the tech for it. And now I want to get Paladin because I've been saving for it, and that's the most natural thing to go for. So I sent in my first raid of Cavalier, does a good job, forces him to make a lot of camels, and now I see that he's mainly going camels, and I go for mainly halbs to start, but now Paladin tech is coming in, I'm going to go Paladin and halb. And it's one of the rare cases where you want to go for double melee units. Usually I say avoid this, but halberdiers for Lithuanians are so strong, and I have such a good position here that it's actually okay to go for this. Halbs to distract or to kill the camels, and my paladins to raid him and take out buildings and whatnot. So it's actually a very nice composition. But look at my composition. It's one gold unit, which is the paladin, one siege unit, which is the treb, and one trash unit, which is the halberdier. How many times did I mention that? I always talk about it every video, and I'm doing the same comp, same style comp every game. So while there might not be a build order to play the late game, there certainly is, you know, good things to remember to ease you in your decision making. Now, aside from unit compositions, you can also see me expanding on the map here. Very important in late game to expand. I've got a castle on this important hill, taking the extra resources. Again, spreading out, just making use of the size of the map. Don't get crammed into the middle. This is where I started, and this is where I'm at now. All right. So, what do they say on the streets these days? Started from the bottom or something like that. So, you don't want to stay where you're at. So this would be the bottom. And just to make you guys cringe even further, I'm going to explain the analogy a little bit more. But anyways, enough cringing. We're going to get back to the action now, to normal speed. I'm expanding my base, and I'm actually starting to push back the center now. And my composition is perfect. Like Paladin with 2 relics. So they're actually really strong now. 12 plus 6, 14 plus 6 they will be. And now the halbs to go in and clear the camels. And he simply cannot deal with this. He's at 170 pop. He has few heavy camels and few caberos, but no answer to my halbs here, which is just so strong, and he actually taps out. He simply doesn't have the position, he doesn't have the composition, and he's going to be losing on all fronts at the moment. So, very strong gameplay for me in the late game. Was looking very dicey in the castle age though, so I think Daniel played extremely well then, and I made some mistakes in the feudal age that put me in that position. And his trick there with the crossbows, just to recap here, was very good. Allowed him to play very aggressively, and I didn't expect that for one. So I don't know what you guys thought about this game. It was a lot of fun to play. I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of good plays. Daniel made a lot of mistakes. Daniel also made a lot of good plays. So it was kind of just back and forth action. I'm sure we can both learn from it. And hopefully you guys can also learn from it through my perspective here. Overall, the points to take away here as we're closing in on 45 minutes, the points to take away is to never panic under pressure, make your villagers even if you're getting pushed, and really base your strategy or make your strategy based on the map and the matchup. And then play it out in the mid game while spending your resources and expand as you get to the late game. Very nice game here. Shows off the Civ pretty much perfectly, I think, because it shows the power of the relics, and it shows the great start, and it shows the trash units supplementing the army as well. That's it. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and bye for now.